Hello, my name is SEREDA GOLDIE, and this year I had the pleasure of serving as the Vice President National for SUSK. In this role, I had a diverse portfolio, including but not limited to chairing the Advocacy Committee, the Project Grant Committee, the Resolutions Committee, and the Student Publication Committee. I served on the Congress Planning Committee. I co-ran SUSK's social media platforms and website. I coordinated weekly blog posts on SUSK's Facebook page. I created and shared new resources for Holodomor and postcards for prisoners. I ordered new swag. I coordinated SUSK's national conference call. I also coordinated SUSK's response to Black Lives Matter. I encouraged SUSK to join the Ukrainian anti-racist community, which they did. I'm currently coordinating a new initiative in partnership with Cobblestone Freeway Tours to offer tours to Ukraine for Ukrainian youth and young people in the diaspora, which will be launching next year. In addition, I attended the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Triennial Congress in Ottawa as a SUSK representative. I was SUSK's representative on the UCC Resolutions Committee, and in this role, I drafted 3 resolutions on behalf of SUSK. They pertained to 1, inclusion of all people in the UCC, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, multi-ethnic identity, etc. 2, support of Ukrainian minorities in Ukraine who face significant persecution, for example, those who are in the LGBTQ+ community. And 3, truth and reconciliation. I was also awarded the UCC National Youth Leadership Award. The role of the Vice President National is a role that allows for a diversity of experiences and is a really great role for somebody who is looking to take on more leadership within the organization. I encourage you to consider applying for this role. We generally recommend that people serve on the board for at least 1 year before applying for this role. Thank you for listening to my report. It's been a great year.
Hi everybody, my name is MATTAY DUBCZAK and I was the most recent Vice President of Finance for SUSK. I graduated this year from Western University, where I was deeply involved in the USO there for a number of years, culminating in my final role as president in my 4th year at school. I have nothing but great things to say about my time as a member of the USO at Western, as well as an executive member of SUSK, of which I was on the board of for, I think, 3 years now, and time flies. And, it's a great way to get involved at a young age and get some really good experience that you might not get otherwise. As the Vice President of Finance, I know I got a lot of exposure to certain aspects of running an organization that there's just no way I would have gotten otherwise. And I think SUSK is a really great way of getting involved in both your community, but also developing yourself. As someone who will be looking for a job in the future, I'm sure. My role is pretty straightforward, I think. It's to manage the SUSK's finances, making sure everything's in order, making sure our accounting's in line, making sure our budget's done and ready for the annual report. And, especially this past few years, we've really been kind of trying to legitimize the organization in a much more professional way. So, going through the audit process and really working with the accountants to make SUSK a real deal, professional, legit organization, I think is something that has been an amazing experience and something I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. So if you are looking for that type of role, I highly recommend you apply for this position for Vice President of Finance. It's not often you get a chance at, in your 20s to run the finances of, frankly, a decently large and prestigious organization. So if that's something that interests you, reach out to me. I'm sure my email's somewhere around here. And, all the best. Have so much fun at SUSK Congress. It's a blast. I know it's virtual this year, unfortunately, but in the future it won't be. So, I recommend you come back because it can be very fun. So all the best and take care.
Hello, my name is MARC. I am an executive member of the McGill Ukrainian Students Association, and I was SUSK's Vice President East for the 2019 to 2020 school year. This role allowed me to see what all the Ukrainian student organizations across Eastern Canada have been up to and how different clubs operate from school to school. My main responsibilities were maintaining regular contact and communication with the Eastern USOs, letting them know about SUSK resources and initiatives, and organizing or trying to organize an Eastern meetup. Unfortunately, an Eastern meetup was not possible this year due to differences in scheduling. However, the important thing is that the clubs were active and engaging students on their respective campuses, and I am very happy to say that that was the case. It's been a real honor being on the SUSK executive for this year. If you're considering applying for a position, are interested in getting involved on a deeper level, and are passionate about the issues facing the community, I highly recommend that you apply. I can guarantee you that it is an incredibly valuable experience that you will not regret.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us at SUSK Congress online this year. My name is Nicole Dovey and I had the privilege of serving as SUSK Nationals VP West this year. So some of the basic things that are required of a regional vice president is constant consultation with all of the clubs in our region, and that's something that I feel like I maintained and succeeded at very well this year. In addition to that, I tried to join as many subcommittees on the SUSK board as I was able to. So I worked diligently on the Congress Planning Committee, which planned an excellent Congress, which was to be hosted in Toronto this year, but due to COVID-19 is now obviously online. So we worked heavily on that. I also served as a committee member on the Selections Committee, which served to fill our open positions at our by-election after Congress last year. Another thing I really worked hard on this year was contacting some clubs that seemed to be defunct within my region. I worked really hard trying to contact new up-and-coming individuals who may be able to revive those clubs, and I tried to work with them in order to put the right pieces in motion to make sure that we have as many successful clubs in my region as possible. I also this year hoped to organize a Western meetup, which faced some issues, mostly not entirely because of COVID, but some other issues arose as well, especially with the Western region being so large. But that's something that I have building blocks in place for now to try to successfully host a Western meetup if I were to be reelected. I really hope that continuing on the SUSK board is something that's in my future. It's given me great fulfillment, and I feel like I can really proceed and build on some of the progress that I made this year in my role as VP West. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Hopefully we can all reconvene in a year's time for the next in-person Congress, which I am really looking forward to. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi there, my name is SOPHIA HOLOWATY, HOLOWATY, and I currently hold the position of Vice President Central on the SUSK National Board of Directors for the 2019 to 2020 school year. I am also the co-president of the Ukrainian Students Club at the University of Toronto for the upcoming school year. One of my responsibilities on the SUSK board throughout the past year has entailed reaching out to and maintaining contact with the USOs that are situated in the Central Ontario area. I have been emailing my respective USOs about once a month and would offer my support, whether it be providing these USOs with resources that SUSK offers for further development for USOs, or just spreading the word of Ukrainian events and initiatives that are being held in the Greater Toronto area or through an online platform. Another task of mine was to relay any questions or concerns that USO had to SUSK. It's much easier to have a liaison like myself responsible for something like this rather than feeling left out in the dark. One of my goals for the school year that I did not accomplish, however would have really loved to, was to organize a regional meetup for the USOs in the Central Ontario area. This year has really brought us a great surprise that none of us could have anticipated, but I truly hope that this can one day be planned in the near future. I now encourage you all watching to apply for a position on the SUSK board because I promise it will be a rewarding one.
Hi, my name is SHARUN. This past year, I served on the SUSK board as the project director. As the project director, I supported and coordinated many of the projects and initiatives put forth by SUSK this past year. Whether that was coming up with an idea of my own, or supporting a proposal put forth by my fellow board members, or joining as many committees as I could to help grow those ideas into fruition. My activity on the board included, but was not limited to, being a member of the SUSK Congress Planning Committee, where my main focus was to create more immersive experiences within SUSK Congress that then shifted to adapting to a virtual Congress. Serving as a member of the Projects Grant Committee, where I reviewed applications from USOs who applied for the SUSK Projects Grant, as well as partnering with Roman in the hiring of the SUSK summer students, where I reviewed applications, coordinated video interviews, and selected candidates for the SUSK summer internships. I also coordinated social media takeovers for the executive to be featured on an Instagram story. In addition, I attended the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress Triennial Congress as a SUSK representative. This role is great for those who are new to SUSK and want to break into the greater Ukrainian-Canadian community. It has been a pleasure serving SUSK as the project director this past year, and I look forward to seeing SUSK continue to grow in the future.
Добрий день. Моє ім'я Danilo GROD. This year, I was the External Relations Director for SUSK, and I'm part of the Kitchener-Waterloo Ukrainian Students Association, or CLAS, as a student at Wilfrid Laurier University. This year, a few of the things I did was attend the Triennial Congress as a SUSK delegate to express student concerns to the newly elected UCC executive. Another thing I did was play a key role in organizing a student alumni event with the UCPBA Toronto, which brought students and business professionals together. Another thing I did as External Relations Director is help develop relationships with organizations both inside and outside the Ukrainian community. The External Relations Director position would be good for you if you like interacting with others and building relationships with other people as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Luba Maslay and I was a part of the SUSK executive team as the media director for the last year. I am from Toronto and so I'm also an active member of the University of Toronto Ukrainian Students Club. Over the past year, my role as media director was concerned with maintaining SUSK's engagement on our social media platforms, which included making posts to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Whether this was original content or shared content from other sources, the topic of these posts had a relatively similar theme, related to current events as well as the Ukrainian community. Being a part of SUSK has given me a great opportunity to involve myself within a cultural community that has been an important part of my upbringing and still remains a significant part of my identity. Being SUSK's media director has also given me the incentive to stay updated and informed on issues pertaining to the Ukrainian community, something that I actually struggled with without this responsibility. Whether those current events are set in Canada, Ukraine, or other places globally, this role allowed me to learn what is important for those who interact with SUSK's social media platforms. The role of social media director is a perfect opportunity for those of you who are familiar with social media, but who are also interested in staying informed and engaged with the Ukrainian community. I would like to encourage anyone interested in staying informed to get involved with SUSK and give it a try, as I have learned so much in the past year and have had many opportunities to reflect and learn as to why the Ukrainian community means so much to me.
Hi, my name is RAISSA and I was the Alumni Director on the SUSK board this year. I am part of the USO at Western University in Ontario. My two main priorities this year were strengthening the relationships between USOs and universities, and then I was also in charge of sponsorships for the Congress that we were supposed to have in Toronto. In terms of strengthening relationships between USOs and universities and colleges, many of our USOs have faculty advisors that help them reach school administration, push forward their initiatives and goals. I reached out to all clubs to understand the relationships that existed, and then helped clubs with the faculty advisors forge a relationship with some sort of faculty advisor at their respective university. I also created an extensive list of potential sponsors, so regarding sponsorships, and was in communication with sponsors, even securing some sponsorships that we had to return. But the hope is that in future years, and especially next year, we can build on these connections and secure sponsorships through these individual companies that I have talked to this year. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is IRINA BOYKO and I am the Secretary on the SUSK Board of Directors for the 2019-2020 year. I am also the President of my USO at the University of Manitoba. As a Secretary, my main roles included scheduling meetings and taking detailed notes. I was also part of different committees including the Advocacy Committee and the Congress Planning Committee. Unfortunately, this year our actual Congress got cancelled, but we are hosting a virtual Congress August 7th to 9th, and I highly encourage everyone to participate as we do have lots of exciting things planned. I also encourage anyone who is interested in applying for our board to apply, as it is a great opportunity to learn more about the Ukrainian community on a national Canadian level. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is NEDOSHYTKOI and I am SUSK Immediate Past President. I'm going to keep my executive report quite short. My primary role on the SUSK Board of Directors is to provide advice, mentorship, and guidance to my fellow board members. So this allows SUSK to maintain an institutional memory. So that means that a lot of our projects and contacts don't get left behind. I also provide advice on things like statements or grants or other projects. I love having board members bounce their ideas off of me so that I can provide them with advice of my own personal experience in my time at SUSK. I also sit on the endowment committee. So while we like to prioritize the SUSK of today, it's really, really important that we're also thinking about the SUSK of tomorrow so that we can provide future students with those same opportunities that you've been able to partake in. But one project that I am especially excited about finishing is the bylaws, policies, and procedures, which are now completely finalized and you'll be voting on them during this Congress. And I understand that perhaps the format of this Congress is quite different, but I really do hope that you gain a lot from your involvement from SUSK. And if nothing else, I want to ensure that you stay involved and stay engaged as Ukraińcy and Ukraińskie studenty across Canada. It's really great having you with us, and I'm very excited for your time here.